speaking to our buddy up in New York, Eric, and he told us about his son that right around the block from their house got stabbed in the back by somebody. And I can't believe what I'm saying. During the break, he shot me the pictures, and so I can't believe somebody took the picture of it. Kid's lying in the middle of the street, and he's got which looks like a steak knife. I mean, it's huge. It's sticking out of his back. Thank God it was more towards the shoulder blade and not a little bit lower. Because what's that, the lung right there?
The lungs are there. And you know
lungs.
what about what neighborhood was it in?
Mars Boulevard in New York. And 47th. Queens, the story of Queens.
Okay.
It's where we grew up. And it's sad. I mean, because, man, we didn't grow up in the ghetto, but our neighborhood was tough, you know, and it was nothing like this, you know. Back then, people, they took, you know, we didn't have a lot, but we took care of what we had. Like, people would sweep and hose the sidewalks, and the garbage was always kept neat, and it was behind your gate, and, you know, John and I and the guys, we'd hang out on the stoop, and, you know, it was like, there was no trouble. There's nothing like this. And a random guy walks up to this kid and stabs him in the back for nothing. Absolutely nothing. You know? Geez. And this is the stuff. These people are animals, man. And it's embarrassing. You know, it really is. And these mayors and these politicians. Yeah, everybody's bouncing. They're like, forget this. Why would I want to grow, you know, live here and my family and my kids grow up here and they got to be scared of just walking out their front door? It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
It's terrible what's happened to New York because it was a fabulous place.
It's the place. It's the city of the world.
It is.
You know, it's like everything seems to start there and come out from there. So for this stuff to start happening, it's just. And there's only one. It's the politicians. This is all the politicians' fault. You know, you could say what you want to say about Giuliani now, but when Giuliani was there then, and he was in office, he cleaned house.
I mean, the rats were scared.
Yes, right. They stayed in the rocks. They didn't even come out.
Yep.
You know, and you caused the crime, you went to jail. There was no, you're out on bail right away. You stayed. Where people think this is okay to say, okay, this guy is a repeat criminal. He's been arrested 30, 35 times. We're going to let this clown out on bail again and again and again. What? Till he kills people or shoots up a school or a church or something like that? Then it's good enough to hang on to him for a little while?
And what's the laws with not
there is
doing
no
the
bail.
whole time?
John, how's that possible, though? Isn't that insane?
There is no bail. They're just letting them go.
Oh.
Yeah, for what, though? I mean,
it's ridiculous. You can be in the right. You could catch the guy who stabbed this kid, and he'll be out that night.
Yeah. What about, so let's talk about the kid on the subway. Remember the Marine, the white kid who was choking out the guy?
Yeah, Penny's his name, I think.
Still in jail? Is he still in jail?
No, he's not in jail.
Is he out?
No, he's not in jail. He's not in jail. He's out, but he's fighting. They just denied. He put in a motion to throw the case out, and the judge, liberal judge, said no. We're gonna try it. Now look, at the end of the day, unfortunately, he killed somebody.
Right.
You know, but it wasn't premeditated. It wasn't intentional.
Not at all.
You know,
not at all. You know, and it's not.
His motion to throw out the case got denied.
The first thing that's going to happen is people are going to jump up on the race card. Oh, it's just because he's a white guy. It's this and that. I'm so sick and tired of hearing this. The bottom line is this, is that it's not happening in my neighborhood because I grew up right. You know, people told me how to act. People told me how to treat other people. You know, there were. It wasn't my father. You know, it wasn't my mother. They weren't my role models. But I had other people that I looked up to that were able to. You know, I'm not an idiot. So you just don't treat people that way. You just don't walk up in the middle of the street and stab somebody in the back. It's a moral compass, just like you said. All right. So. Yeah. What I'm trying to get at, you can say all you want. Oh, well, you know, the people saying we're privileged, and they're saying that, oh, we grew up better. Listen, I had the same chance that they did. You and I grew up 2 blocks away from the projects. All right, the same garbage was on our neighborhood as it was on their neighborhood. All right, so for people to call the race card, listen, you can get out of the ghetto. right? John, how many blocks was it away from us? We can spit on the building.
Yes.
You know
yes,
what?
Yes.
Instead of paying rent there, pay rent somewhere else, 3 blocks away, and you're out of the ghetto, right? So you choose everything that you're doing in your life. You choose. So I'm so sick and tired of these race cards. I'm not talking just black and white.
Right.
I'm talking about Hispanic. I'm talking about whatever.
Right.
This has nothing to do with race. This has to do with what you just said, that moral compass. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're a criminal. You're a criminal. You if you choose to stay that way, that's on you. You go to jail for the rest of your life. Tough crap. Go to jail for the rest of life because that's where you belong. You belong in the cage like the rest of the animals.
Lazy and irresponsible people do not want to follow the rules. They want it easy. They want it to be given to them. They don't want to earn anything. And that's the valid fact of what's going on.
Yeah, I understand. I
just
get that.
To touch.
Go ahead.
Just to touch on what you mentioned, Kevin, you do know that the history has dictated the Democratic Party created these projects for these people to keep them under control.
Of course.
Okay, and they get lied to every election cycle. Free cell phones, free this, free that. And they don't have to educate themselves on policy. They just want what they're being promised. And they're not even getting it, but they're dumb enough to come back and vote again the same way. That's what the problem is.
But here's the wild thing about it is, those aren't the people who are voting. Those people aren't pulling a lever.
Some of them are.
Some of them are.
Some of them are.
Some of them are, but the one on the corner slinging drugs, he's not. You know what I'm saying?
No.
It's like I'm sorry, this is such an easy fix. So when I look at politicians and I look at the policy makers and I look at the lawyers and the judges and stuff like that, they're the problem. They are the problem because it's so easy to fix this. You know what I'm saying? You got an animal that constantly stabs people on the street, put him away for life. Put him away for life.
There is a movement. You probably don't get that news down. You don't get that news down there, but there is a movement up here of the people we're talking about that are leaning red. They're leaning right. That they are fed up and they, bring Trump back. Trump is actually talking about having a rally in the Bronx.
He should. He should.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Expose this crap. The bottom line is, I don't care where you live. If you live in the ghetto and I can promise you a better life, and you'd say, nah, I don't want that. I want to keep living the way I'm living. That's not going to happen.
I'll make another baby.
That's it. Sure, that's it. That's it. And it's like,
I'll make another baby. That's it.
They'll leave. Let me educate you. Let me show you a better life. Let me get you out of here. But that's not happening. It's just suppression. And unfortunately, when I say this, everybody thinks I'm talking about black people. Well, unfortunately, you're in the ghetto. That's where you want to live. And I'm not. What I'm saying is, if you want to continue to live in poverty, you'll live there. You want to continue to live in the scum, you're going to stay there.
How many of these people that I personally know that live in these projects, they milk the system, okay, and they own homes in other states.
Yeah.
Okay, and they're up here to make New York City money. And as soon as they retire, they're gone.
They're down here.
But you know what? They grandfather that apartment to the next generation of bottom feeders.
Right.
And they move on. They go down to Carolinas or Georgia or whatever. And the cycle just doesn't end. It doesn't end. It's ridiculous.
And like I'm saying, there's like this stuff. I feel bad because Eric and Justine were living in that house forever. I mean, forever. Since they got married, they've been there. So that was their home. So you have an incident like this that your son gets stabbed in the street and they're like, okay, we got to bounce. We got to get out of here. We got to get out of here now. And that's sad. You're basically chased from your home. They're probably living a lot better now. They live out on the island. But I mean.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
Yeah, it's sad. It really is sad because I can remember as a kid, the three of us were all from New York, right? So you was from New York City, right?
I'm from the island, out east.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and we only have one bum he's from Rhode Island, the guy in the corner.
He don't count.
He don't count. But
he's from an island.
Yeah, he was an island.
He is from an island, so.
Yeah, it wasn't like that when we were younger. It was tough. New York was tough.
It was tough.
You know, it was
remember
tough.
the South Bronx? That was bad in the 60s. You couldn't go through there. Hell's Kitchen, all of that, Spanish Harlem. I mean, it was pretty rough and whatever. My high school had two Suffolk County cruisers parked outside of it every day.
We did too. Bryan High School. We had a police substation on the third floor.
Right at the high school, Sachem
Kanicki.
Central 5. Yep.
Kanicki.
Yeah.
Remember Kanicki? Officer Kanicki.
Was it Joe Kanicki? Joe
Kanicki, yeah.
Oh, man, we caused so much trouble with this
We knew him on a first-name basis.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. And he knew us on a first-name basis, too.
Yeah, he did, too.
Yes.
You know, I still got the marks on my wrist from his handcuffs.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, you know, stuff was happening then, too. But, I mean, this random stuff is crazy.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's like you can't even, I'd be afraid to mouth off to a kid today. I really would. I've always been a guy that can hold my own. But, I mean, you mouth off to a 13-year-old kid, and next thing you know, the kid's pulling out a gun or a machete on you. It's insane.
It is insane.
But let me get off this because I'm getting angry.
Yeah, let's go on to the razor wire.
I want to hear. Okay. Yeah, let's bring that up.
I got numbers.
Right,
he's got numbers. Okay, John finally,
I got numbers.
Legitimately.
The guy in the corner is still looking for something.
During the break, NBC News is reporting Trump at 20, Nikki Haley at 8, and DeSantis and Ramaswamy are getting points. DeSantis got 9, and Ramaswamy got 3, and they have them listed as dropped out, but they're getting numbers too.
Unbelievable.
And
so Trump's got 20?
They're saying they need a total of 1,200. Yeah.
You know,
something like 1,200 votes needed to win or something like that.
Look at that. Look at that. All right.
We need some man on the street. We're not doing well with this.
I know we're not.
I mean, we're really, this is
I think we're going to have to have a reporter next for the next. South Carolina's next. We're going to see. You know what? We'll send Vern to South Carolina.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, to give the microphone.
It's a quick ride. It's a quick ride from the studio.
The globalists are scared because Trump is historically hitting highs now with Hispanics and blacks, which is the traditional Democrats. They're running scared because that was their traditional vote. That's their base. Now they're moving and shifting over to Trump. It says that Trump is averaging 20% of the black vote and 42% of the Hispanic vote because they don't want all the stuff that's going on, the illegals. There was a big riot, I forget it was in Minnesota or whatever, where it was a brawl where these black Somalis were attacking black American kids. The black American kids don't want all of these people coming in. They don't want to apply by American values and so forth.
Yeah, I mean we've got them coming from everywhere. It's just not the Hispanic. Everybody's coming over. The Chinese are coming over there. Mm-hmm. You know, it's blowing my mind how many different nations are coming across this border. Mm. You know, and you know, they get sick. Free medical, free this, free that. You know. You know what? A diabetic without insurance in the United States of America, in order for a diabetic to survive, is probably paying about $1,200 in medicine a month. How can you do that? Insulin is like ridiculous through the roof if you don't have it, and there's so many people. But you bring somebody over there and they're a diabetic, we'll give them everything we got.
Well, they have, I don't know what it's called now, but the Obamacare, the government care, I mean, that takes care of some of that stuff. I mean, there are regular people, for lack of a better word, in that system, too. I mean, it's not just everybody from over the border. I mean, there are people that get medicine from that, aren't there?
I believe it. It's just that it
is exasperating. It's totally exasperating. And the other thing that I feel bad about is people are legitimately coming here because they want a second chance or whatever. So many decent people. I'm
Do it
sorry.
legally.
I mean, so many decent. What is it?
Legally.
Legally.
Yeah, I mean, like that's what my grandparents did.
That's what all of us did.
That's what my parents did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and they legitimately wanted a shot, and there are many millions of people that want that. It's sad. It's always the rotten apple.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you know, this is an invasion. This is just not what the.
Yes.
I don't even know what the numbers were in December. I think it was something like 300,000 people came across, and I'm probably wrong. It's probably higher than that. Mm-hmm. But a month.
Mostly
and where
military-age men coming from these South American countries. A lot of them, like in Venezuela, they released their prisoners, their mental institutions, and they shipped them to us. Trump was absolutely right about that. They're not the quality of the quality.
Well, it's not like you've got, every picture that I see, it's always groups of men.
Yeah.
You'll see
Yes.
some little families in there. You'll see some women with children and stuff like that. But it would be different in my eyes if it was families, looking for, please help me, get me out of here. It's so bad, like begging. But it's not that. They're just walking in. And I'm sitting there going like, okay, where's the families? Where are the families trying to come in? It's all these guys that are coming in. And that's the scary part.
And they're being
what's
indoctrinated
also
against the American dream. We're the bad people.
They're-
When they come in, they're going to attack us, and they're going to be used to attack the American citizens.
they're coming in with this disillusion that there's going to be a red carpet rolled out for them. And believe me, they're getting more than they deserve considering how they're coming in. Okay. But they almost think like they're entitled, and they're so ignorant that they don't see people like us that worked hard for what we have.
Right.
Nobody gave it to us,
Like,
but they
like for-
think they're entitled to it.
I sit there, I get mad. I mean, I got a small business, and every week for us, it's in my mind is, listen, I got to keep going. I got to keep this thing rolling because I got guys that are dependent on me for a paycheck to provide for their families, and that's a struggle. That's a lot of stress. And then you see guys like this that roll across, and I'm like, wait, whoa, what on earth? Gimme. I mean, I get a little bit aggravated. That's all. I'm just sitting there. Listen, if somebody came across the right way, and you're trying to do this, and you really want betterment for your family, hey, I am all for it. And if you have to fast track it, but just do it the right way, because it's reverse for the citizens that are here. We have people struggling. When I turn around in Vero Beach, Florida used to be like the vacation spot. It was like sandals and sand. It was the beachy place. We got homeless veterans all over the street. There are homeless veterans everywhere. Now, the county's tried, and they put up a building, but it only houses, 12 guys in an apartment. There is so, if I look at a homeless veteran, let me just take the veteran title. Any American that is homeless, there shouldn't be one. I know there's people out there that have mental health issues.
Right.
I know there's some lazy ones that just don't want to work. However, there should not be one American in this country homeless here. This is the place where everybody comes to prosper. How on earth can we have anybody who's homeless here?
They're putting them up in luxury hotels here in New York.
Yeah, but
The homeless. I'm not the homeless, the immigrants.
The immigrants.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, I don't think it'd be right to put the homeless in luxury hotels either.
No.
But there are areas.
Yeah,
that you
but
can
what the
build.
point is, we're paying the bill. Touching on what Cindy was talking about with Obamacare and all these other things, we're paying for that. The
Yes.
taxpayers are paying for that.
Right.
So it's a
Right.
burden on us. The
But this
money's
is
got
gonna
to come
crush the
from
system.
somewhere.
That's,
This will
Exactly.
crush the
that's
system.
what you're going to understand. There's the land-man ratio. So much land can only produce so much for so many. You've got, let's say, Vero Beach. If you suddenly drop 100,000 illegals into Vero Beach, we don't have the infrastructure, the schooling system.
Nobody does.
It will
Right.
collapse. That's what's transpiring. It's a globalist plan to collapse America from within. And the
Yeah, but
communists are in.
it is happening other places. It's just not.
Totally.
It's just not happening here.
Right.
No, but it's a planned globalist takeover because they want this in France, which is a Western nation. It's happening there. It's happening in
Germany, it happened.
Germany.
Yeah. Was
They're
it
squeezing.
Turkey?
They're
Yeah.
squeezing out the farmers,
Yeah.
taking their diesel subsidies to create chaos, so that they can collapse the economy, and then they can have this global technocracy.
Let me flip the script for a second, because you said something. You said the word farmers. Okay, and let's talk about China. China's buying up a ton of land here in the United States. All right.
They have been.
They have been, right? And I was looking at this, I was watching this show late night one night, and it was a bunch of farmers that were talking. And I guess the soybean market, they're buying up the soybean market, and they're trying to push out these farmers that are already in here. And I started thinking about it. And, we've got it's wild. Little Vero Beach, Florida, we've got a Chinese-owned company right here.
Yeah, Senator.
Syngenta, right?
Syngenta, yep.
Right on 58th Avenue.
Yeah.
And we just, we're blind to it. Nobody says a word.
And they've been here for
For
20 something
a long
years.
time,
for 20
right?
something years. And
What
the
do they
Chinese
do?
own all the hog farms in North Carolina.
What we looked it up one time. What is it?
Smithfield and all that's owned
Oh
by the
yeah,
Chinese.
Smithfield.
Yeah, it's
Isn't
all
that the
owned by the
largest beef producer?
A hog.
Hog.
Ham.
And the Chinese
Bacon,
now
ham.
own it.
Yeah, they do. The other thing that they own, and I read books about both of them, is the cobalt mining in Africa.
Peter Bush is right here in Vero Beach.
The main company is Anheuser-Busch was bought out.
By I want to say Japanese, but it's one of them, yeah.
Serious?
Yeah, they don't have controlling share of it anymore, the Bush family.
Nope.
That's
They
crazy.
lost it 6-8 years ago.
I that's where government should step in, and government should say, listen, we just don't sell. We don't, I don't know what law can take back the land, but there's got to be something.
There comes a point in any business that it's not always about the bottom line. Okay, I'm going to go touch back on what we were talking about earlier about New York City releasing criminals as soon as they get arrested. They're in for a couple hours and they're out again. Some bean counter realized it's cheaper to let them out than house them and feed them and take care of them and put them in jail.
True. Yeah, probably true.
So
You know what I
then
mean?
what
That's
about-
what it comes down to. It doesn't matter how much integrity you have. People are folding to that almighty dollar, and they're not thinking about the generations they're screwing after them.
So what about a guy who 5 years ago or 10 years ago robbed a bank, and the new guy comes in who robs a bank? Totally different sentencing, because we don't want to. It costs too much money to house the guy. You know what I mean? So what about the guy who's sitting there for 20 years?
Bank robbery.
It's a
Bank
federal
robbery
crime.
is a federal rap.
I know,
Okay,
but
so,
I mean,
so that's a different rapper.
He robbed Key Food. The guy robbed Key Food, okay? Two guys
Yeah,
robbed
okay.
Key Food. One guy's doing 10 years. Here comes the next guy and say, look, it was your first time. Don't do it again. Get out of here. You know what I mean? So what about the guy who's sitting rotten for 10 years? The crime's the same, right? So, I mean...
This goes back to the paying for college thing. You ever saw that clip of... with Pocahontas, where that one father walked up to him because you want the taxpayer to absorb the student loans, okay? And of course, the students aren't stupid; they're dumb kids. They're naturally stupid. And if you dangle the carrot, listen, you can go to school and not owe us a dime. Of course, they're going to vote for you. That's part of the thing. So
Right.
this father walked up to Pocahontas, said, "I already paid for my daughter's college. I want my money back."
Right.
Right.
That's what we all said. I
Right.
said
I want my
that.
money back.
Yeah.
I'm still paying.
You know?
I still got 12 G's left on mine.
Yeah.
And I've been paying it through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, none of you people give me a
Wait, you
dime
talking about
back.
your college?
My college, yeah.
I paid,
12 G's.
I paid for mine. Nobody gave me any money.
And I got
for
a
mine.
master's degree. Come on.
Yeah. Okay, I want to throw this out real quick before we go off the air, because I brought this up when we were off the air. What about the razor wire? So if they use razor wire at the border, they're saying that's inhumane, illegal, and whatever. Why is it legal to keep people in prison with that when they've committed a crime? So aren't you coming over the border illegally? Isn't that a crime?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
I'm confused.
We're keeping one in and one out, but the ones that
I don't get it.
are out, they
Because
just
the
climb
government
right
is
over
not
that.
saying it's a crime.
Yeah.
We know that it's a crime. We know that crossing the border illegally is a crime.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Yeah.
the
I mean,
powers
it
that
is.
be are not admitting that. They're holding their ears and going la 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 la. I don't hear you.
Listen.
they're
We
just
got
letting
a
them in.
minute left, so not even a minute.
Now,
but
we got like 30
I'm
seconds.
gonna say this. So when we put this thing up on the air, what I want everybody to listen to, the bottom line is this: you got to vote. You got to vote. You got to vote. You got to vote, and you got to vote Trump, because that's the guy that we're all behind. All right, we're gonna check you
Make
all
America
out
great again.
next Tuesday. Ciao.